What's good, YouTube? It's Justice I Used to Be Pay, and today I'm back with another video. And in this video, I'm going to talk about why it's time for Cardi B to come back outside. Now, before I get into the video, I'm just let you know, my nose is a little runny, so I may sound a little off at times in this video, but just ignore that for me. I just got off vacation. Not feeling so great, but let's just get straight into the video. Now, one thing that I want to make perfectly clear is that I don't hate Cardi B. I actually enjoy her probably more than the average rap fan, especially male rap fan. I think she has some great music. I like Cardi B, so this isn't me coming from a place of like anger or me hating on her. This is coming from a place of somebody who likes an artist, but I think that they're just kind of not doing the right thing at the moment, or that I think they need to build upon what they already have done. So this is more of like constructive criticism or like a healthy call out. This isn't me like, oh my God, Cardi B. This is more of like a, hey, Cardi B, come on now. And when I say it's time for Cardi B to come outside, I don't mean anything regarding her and Offset and whatever's going on with them. I mean musically. It's time for her to come outside and play. It's been too long that we've gone without a Cardi B album. Cardi B is one of the biggest rappers in the world currently, and probably, the top second biggest female rapper in the world right now. But over the last couple of years, Cardi B has just been kind of coasting. She dropped Invasion of Privacy in 2018 to massive commercial and critical success, and I tend to agree with those people. I do think that Invasion of Privacy is one of the better albums from around that era, but since then, she really hasn't done that much. For the last now 6 years, since it's 2024, she's just kind of rode the coattails of that album. She hasn't really committed to any like big project or any crazy amounts of music. She really, for the most part, over the last couple of years, has just been dropping a couple features a year, and mostly features or singles that end up being very big commercial hits like Tomorrow 2, WAP, or even the song with Lotto, Put It on the Floor. But still, for the most part, she hasn't really committed to anything big. She's just been kind of doing a couple features here and there and just still riding that success of Invasion of Privacy. These songs kind of work as reminders or maintainers of Cardi B's spotlight. They just kind of exist to make sure you remember, hey, Cardi B is still out here. She's still a superstar, but they don't really serve that much of a purpose outside of that, in my opinion. These songs are Cardi B doing just enough to remain in the spotlight, remain with her superstar status without having to put in massive amounts of work or really putting her neck out there for public critique like what comes with the typical album. Because these songs still feed her fan base. She has a huge fan base and they still pay attention to everything she drops. But at the same time, they're kind of low risk, high reward songs in the sense of any of these songs that she puts out, because she doesn't really drop very often, can and probably will be Billboard topping songs. Pretty much anytime an artist of her magnitude drops, and it's not really regularly, she probably drops like 2 songs a year, they're going to go very, very viral. They're going to do huge numbers. So in that sense, it's kind of like, hey, if I drop a song, it'll probably do great commercially, but let's just say it flops and it doesn't really matter because it's just one single that I'm dropping this year. It doesn't really mean that much. I still have a great album that I made a couple years ago and a whole bunch of other hits that I've made over the years as well. So with these singles that Cardi B puts out every single year, it's just her kind of throwing something out there to keep people thinking about her, but also it's low risk, high reward because there's a very good chance it blows up. But even if it doesn't really mean much because it's just kind of a throwaway single. With this kind of method, Cardi B is able to remain in the superstar spotlight without having to drop an album, which isn't really something that you see artists do. Even artists who may be considered bigger than her or just as popular, they really don't tend to stay in the spotlight when they're not putting out a whole bunch of music. If you look at somebody like Kendrick Lamar, Frank Ocean, or J. Cole, when they're not dropping an album or gearing up to drop an album, or there aren't rumors of them even dropping an album, you don't really hear from those guys. You don't see them all over the blogs. You don't see them all over social media. They're just kind of gone until they come back. Now, they still have their superstar status, but they're not currently in the limelight in the way that Cardi B is, even when she isn't dropping an album or there is no major rumors of her doing anything in terms of music. And this is where I push my belief of it's time for Cardi B to drop another album. Because at this point, when it comes to Cardi B, she's just as much influencer as she is a musician or a rapper. A lot of the stuff that she's in the news for now or in the blogs for or whatever is just random social media stuff. Not in the sense of like Krishan Rock. It's not that bad when it comes to like relationship stuff. But for the most part, you don't really hear about Cardi B for music anymore. And she is a musician first and foremost, or at least she was. But at this point, she's kind of bending the line between social media influencer and rapper. But, and you know, that's fine. If you want to be half and half, if you want to be more of an influencer than a rapper, that's cool too. But when I look at Cardi B as an artist and as a musician, I think that it's time for her to put out new music if she wants to continue to be looked at in that light. Cardi B right now is on her Lauryn Hill wave in the sense that all of her legacy is pretty much one album. Now, of course, both Cardi B and Lauryn Hill have hits outside of their #1 album, but still, for the most part, when you think of them, it's really just one project. Some hits here and there, don't get me wrong, but one project when you really think about these artists. And to just keep it a buck, Cardi B, I'm sorry, Invasion of Privacy is not the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. So it doesn't even really compare to that project and what Lauryn Hill was able to do with that project. But even still, if you look at the career of Lauryn Hill, it didn't really go that great after that project. Just being honest, I know people are going to be mad at me in the comments, but it didn't really go that great after that project. So if the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill wasn't really able to keep Lauryn Hill in that kind of superstar status her entire music career, even though, again, she still is, but it's just complicated with Lauryn Hill. It just is. Let's just leave it at that. If that album is kind of the legacy of Lauryn Hill and that alone, Invasion of Privacy isn't even half of that album, if we're being real. It's a good album, but it's not even half of that album. So it's kind of like if Lauryn Hill can't really do it, you definitely can't do it, Cardi B. Cardi B is supposed to be the top competitor to Nicki Minaj and one of the biggest rappers in the world. But she really doesn't have the line of work to kind of back that. Like, again, it sounds a little rude, but she has really one album and she has some hits outside of it. Don't get me wrong. She deserves to be in her spot. People love her music. I'm not saying that she doesn't really deserve to be there, but in terms of if you're looking at her legacy all time, there's really not that much there. It's really not that much music in the grand scheme of things. And one album that is good, almost great, but not an all-timer, it's just not enough to keep you in these conversations when it comes to some of the best rappers of the era, let alone of all time. And her short discography of work and the lack of amount of work that she's really put in terms of like dropping albums and dropping music is part of the reason, in my opinion, why she doesn't get a lot of the respect that Nicki Minaj gets, even from people who don't really like Nicki Minaj. Even people who don't really like Nicki's music can respect her. Real hip hop fans can respect her and what she's done in terms of her projects over the years. You can look at projects like Pink Friday Reloaded. You can look at the Pink Print, even some of her more modern stuff. Rap fans, real rap fans. I'm not talking about the dudes that just say, oh, she's a woman, she can't rap, women can't rap. I'm talking about real rap fans who respect the art, can respect Nicki Minaj. But they necessarily don't have to when it comes to Cardi B because it's just one album, really. And even with that really good album, Invasion of Privacy, which I love, I think it's a great album, especially for a debut project. It's very good. Don't get me wrong. But even with that one good to great album, a lot of fans don't even really respect that because of the circumstances involving the Grammy Award that it won over albums like Astroworld and Daytona. So even then, with that one at least respectable album by most hip hop fans, it still doesn't get the love it deserves. And in my opinion, I think a lot of people still underrate it. So I'll give Cardi B that. It's not like everything's all bad in this video. I think that album is a little underrated by most. But even then, with a respected album, it still doesn't get the respect it really probably should because of the circumstances surrounding it. So just kind of relying on that album to be your legacy at the moment just shows that I don't know how much you really want to rap for it. Like, I don't really know how much passion you have for hip hop at this point. In my opinion, again, Cardi B just needs a lot more work on her resume in order for us to really look at her as somebody from this era that was a top dog, one of the best, or even comparable to Nicki, because I feel like in about 10 years, these arguments, these comparisons with Nicki might not age so well if Cardi B just has one album. Because at the moment, she's just been riding the wave of an album that was very good. And it feels like she kind of had one big push in 2018 in terms of her career. And now she just kind of wants to be famous. Not necessarily wants to be a rapper, one of the greatest ever. She just kind of wants to be famous, which is fine. There's honestly nothing wrong with that. But in terms of me giving respect to rappers, in terms of how they are viewed, and especially active rappers, modern rappers, rappers that aren't, 40, 50 years old, I'm not going to give you that same respect that I'm going to give the active rappers if that's not what you really want to do. And for Cardi B right now, I don't know if she really wants to do music. I'm just being real. I don't know if that's her passion. So when I look at her and I view her in the lines of the competition, even amongst other female rappers, I just can't give her the respect at the moment that these other ones are getting because they are still active. Especially because we don't even know if Cardi B can replicate what she did in 2018. We don't even know if she can replicate what she did with Invasion of Privacy. That could have just been a lightning strike in a bottle. We don't know. We've seen rappers all the time drop fire albums and then the rest of their career kind of be poo. Or the rest of their career not really ever live up to that moment. We've seen it. We see guys right now who are going through that where people are like, man, what happened to their music? And it feels like Cardi B is kind of fearing that conversation. It feels like she doesn't want to put her work out there in fear of that conversation arising because we don't know if she can do it again. Only she really knows. But maybe she doesn't trust that. And I think that may be a part of the reason as to why she still has not dropped a second album. It just seems like Cardi B wants to do as little as possible in the rap game to kind of maintain her spot. Whatever she can do that's bare minimum to keep her spot, that's what she's going to do. Now, I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. Maybe she's been cooking up an album for the last 6 years. I don't know. But I'm just telling you what it looks like from the outside in. And in order for her to really maintain that respect that she once got a couple of years ago and to keep that, she has to drop again. But in my opinion, the time is now. There's no more riding the coattails of this album. It's put up or shut up, in my opinion. Will she go down as one of the best of her era, possibly one of the best female rappers of all time? Or will she just go down as, oh yeah, she had like a decent little album back in the day and she had a couple hits, like she was straight? Because even right now, to this day, Nicki Minaj, who is 15 years into her career and over 40 years old, is still taking risks and putting her neck out there with projects. So if Nicki Minaj at this age, which normally would be an age of retirement for most rappers, if Nicki Minaj can do it at this age, why can't Cardi B? If Nicki can still come outside and play, Cardi B can too. It just feels as if Cardi B doesn't really care for rap in the sense of like her legacy is whatever. It is what it is. She got her money and that's cool. If that's how you want to look at it, if you don't really care about rap, if you don't really care about the music, you don't really care about the art, that's all right. I'm not mad at that. Like, I'm just being honest. But in terms of how I perceive you in comparison to the other rappers who are making music out here, I kind of got to adjust where I put you and kind of put you off to the side more into a space of like, this is going to sound disrespectful, but like a Krishan Rock. Like, she makes music, but that's not really what she wants to do for real. She just kind of wants to do her thing. Now, of course, Cardi B's music is way better than Krishan. Don't get me wrong. I'm not comparing those two in the sense of like how they are musically because that would just be the ultimate disrespect. But in terms of how they view their own career, I might have to start putting her more into that celebrity who makes music category rather than a music celebrity category. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe Cardi B never needs to drop another album again and she can just kind of drop a single every year, once a year, and just let it be that. Because I'm going to be honest, her singles and her features for the most part have been fire. Tomorrow 2 feature, fire. Put It on the Flow feature, fire. Like, she's putting out good music still. I think Cardi B is really one of those. Like, I really do. I think a lot of people underestimate her. I really do think she could give Nicki a run for her money, respectfully, in terms of money, or not in terms of money. That was weird. That was a really weird thing to say. I meant in terms of commercial success and in terms of quality. I think she could give her a run for her money. That's why I said money, because I said run for her money. So I think that there is some real conversations to be had there, but just put out enough music. Nicki's 5-6 albums in 15 years. At the age of 40, she's dropping an album. Cardi B just turned 30. Still has one project. One major album. She has some mixtapes from back in the day. One major album, I should say. So, again, this isn't me coming from a place of I hate Cardi B because I really do enjoy her music. I think she puts out good work. But there's not enough good work for me to look at her as an all-time great. Or for me to really even compare her to Nicki in terms of all time. Just not enough there. It really isn't. Because in 10, 15 years, when we look back at their legacies, we're going to say, okay, Nicki, Pink Friday. Whew, that was fire back in the day. Y'all remember that? Yeah, that was crazy. Cardi B, Invasion of Privacy. Hey, that was pretty good too. Yeah, that was pretty good too. Okay, well, we can go that one up for Nicki, but it's still close, right? Pink Friday Reloaded. Cardi B, WAP. A decent song, but it's not an album. It's a good song, not an album. Pink Print. Put It on the Flow. Good song, not an album. Even Pink Friday 2. Tomorrow 2. Good song, not an album. So when we look back on this conversation in 10 to 15 years, if Cardi B doesn't continue to put out music, we're going to look like, man, why was this even really a conversation? Why was there even debates about this? But that's just my opinion. Again, I like Cardi B. I like her music. It's just time for her to come outside, bruh. You've been in the house way too long. You've been in the house comfortable way too long. You can't ride the coattails of that album anymore, at least in my opinion. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I come off as a hater in this video. I'm really not. I really do enjoy Cardi B's music. I just want her to come outside. Come outside. Drop some music, bruh. But that's going to be the end of my video. If you agree, if you disagree, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, do all that. Tell me I'm an idiot. Tell me I'm the dumbest person in the world. And I don't know what I'm talking about. Whatever you got to say in the comments, I appreciate it. Leave a like, leave a subscribe. Thank you so much for making it this far. Have a good day. Be safe. Be blessed. Peace.